Well, guys, here is part one of the wrap up for the 2025 metal detecting season. We did really well, um, uh, all things considered. I was able to get out pretty frequently, usually at least once a week. Oops, sorry about that. And as you can see, we got some pretty decent results. I guess we'll start off with the quarters. I can't remember exact totals. For the totals for the quarters, we got $19.50. Looks like we got $3.25, and then the state park or the national parks quarters, no W's, which there had been. Got two Washington crossing the Delawares, can't remember which ones, and then two of the newer um, American women quarters. Surprised this one was as grubby as it was, as corroded as it was, because it's only been under the ground for what, like 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Pretty crazy. The other one was, I think, pretty much a surface find in a park. Can't exactly remember which one, but yeah, of course, you're always going to find more of the old Eagleback ones in the state quarters. I ended up adding two new states to the year, Florida and Nebraska. They're not on the top of any of the piles, but they're mixed in. Did get a Michigan one, which is where I'm from, where I'm hunting in. So that was pretty neat. For the nickels, we did get a lot more of the older design nickels. We also got one Ocean View Lewis and Clark, what was that, 200th year anniversary of the Lewis and Clark expedition. That was pretty neat. Also got, looks like 16 of the newer design with the newer portrait of Jefferson. Didn't find any 09s at all. I don't believe I found any 2009 anything this year. That was a kind of a scarce year, and I kind of collect it. We ended up with $8.50 in dimes. These are all the non-silver ones. These are all clad from 65 all the way up until I think I did find a couple 2025s this year. Of course, they're going to be nice and shiny, but most of them are pretty rough. There's a 67. I remember finding that one. It was really crusty. It's very much green. It's almost like one of the older Wheaties. We found $1.01 in copper memorials this year, all the way from, I think I did, I don't think I found any 59s, but I did find a 1960D small date that isn't out here. I saved those aside because I think they're neat. And then we found $1.88 in spendable zinc pennies. Some of these are pretty tough, but others are pretty nice. But these are all ones that are, they've got enough of the rim left that I consider them spendable. I do really good on the zinc pennies because I'm always thinking they're Indian head pennies. On my metal detector, they kind of ring up similar. Those and the early wheat pennies, they kind of ring up similar. So that was pretty good. The total was $34.49, which, I mean, that's better than last year by a wide margin because I didn't hardly do any metal detecting in 2024. So we'll move right along into the better finds of the year, like the old coins and other oddballs. One other thing I forgot to mention is this is the milk jar that or milk can, I guess. I don't even know what you'd call it, a can or a jar that I've been trying to fill up this year with clad, and I did hit it. Second to last hunt of the year, I filled it up all the way to the top, and the last year, actually it was the third to the last, because the second to last I got two copper pennies, put those in there, and then the final hunt that I did before it snowed, I did find another dollar or so to add to the collection. Yeah, it was $1.24. So, yeah, we definitely filled it, which was great because that was one of my goals of the year. And we'll show you the rest of the better finds in a minute. All right, here is the better finds, better coin, and other stuff related finds of the year. I guess we'll start. I guess with the kind of more random stuff. So these are all these three are the foreign coins that I found this year. I found two Canadian pennies, 1966, and you can see that real well on camera, but it was horrible. I couldn't make it out for a little while. 1984 Canadian penny. I don't know what happened to this coin. It may have been in a fire or maybe just really environmentally damaged, but you can hardly make out anything on it. And then the real big stunner of the year was this. It's a 1966 Australian 20, I guess it would be 20 pence or 20 cents, whichever. I'm not sure whichever one it is. Big, I think this is copper nickel. It is, I mean, it's about, it's, let me pull a half. It's, well, actually, here's a quarter. There is a quarter for comparison. It's just a little bit bigger than a quarter. It, I found this in a lady's yard, and I asked her about it. I said, "Did you ever lose something like this out there?" And she said, "No, I don't think me or my kids ever lost anything out there like that." So, they did know a missionary who was from Australia, but they weren't sure if he'd brought coins back for the kids or what. But anyways, that was a real surprise. I can't remember what that rang up like. It may have been something like a zinc penny, but a little louder. I think I thought it was a bottle cap, but I'm not sure. I use an Octamacro Simplex, if that helps. So, this is that 1960 D small date. It's in pretty good shape. I can't remember where I pulled it out of, but it's a nice red color. Most of the time, those come out of the ground orange, especially where I'm from. All just get toasted. I guess we'll go up here. Should put this up here too. You got 2 tokens on the year. This was a real surprise. It's an oddball. It's a little Utah sales tax token. It's a 1 mil. These were made during the Great Depression, when sales taxes were just starting to become a thing. These were for like cent purchases where the sales tax would have been like a fraction of a penny. So you would use one of those instead of, like wasting a penny. And I found that in a random country park out in the middle of nowhere, kind of. I ended up finding a couple of wheat pennies out there too, so there must have been some farming going on at that place. This one is a shame that it's unreadable. I'm sure it's a local trade token from the 1890s. It would be my first one, but I couldn't find any online that looked like this, and it is so roached you can't tell what it says on it. You can barely make out the 5 on the back. You can kind of just make the 5 is facing the camera right now, but it's been run over probably a billion times. It's made out of brass. We'll move on to the nickels. I got 3 Buffalo nickels. Usually I get more Buffalo nickels than old Jeffersons in a year. I don't know why that is. Ended up with 2 that were kind of dateless and 1 that wasn't. This one here is a 1913. I believe it's an S type 1, which means it's probably... they're harder to come by. You can tell it's a type 1 because it's got it's not a flat mound. It's all, let me just flip this one over to show you. You can see where the 5 cents is recessed. This one it's not. And you can barely make out a little mint mark underneath the split between 5 and cents. So I believe that's a 1913 type 2S mint, so from San Francisco. This one is completely dateless. It's a type 2, but you can tell there it looks like this one. That one's really rough. This one is a crying shame. I found this one down at my local park. It was behind a baseball diamond, and I didn't think it was going to be an old nickel, just because I'd never really found any old coins in that area. And I scratched the heck out of the back of it. You can see where I hit it there on the back. And that's a shame because this is a really nice coin. It's a 1937 Philadelphia. And it's not even all water damaged. I mean, it's been in the ground a long time, but it's not orange like this one is. We did find 2 old Jeffersons. This one's a 1940, and I believe it's a Philly. And where I found that one was really wasted. Really wet area of a park. And this one's a 46. I believe this one's also a Philadelphia. I didn't find these 2 very far away from each other. I think they were in the same area. We'll move on to the wheat pennies next. I can't... Let's see. Well, that's interesting. I found 15 wheat pennies on the year, And when I first started out hunting this year, I said if I get 15 wheat pennies, I'll be pretty happy. And yeah, I sure did. I got 15. Um, the ones on the top are all the older ones, I guess. The ones before they switched over to using the more brass mixture. So these ones turned out pretty nice from being in the ground over 100 years. This one's a 1919S. That's a really nice looking coin. Wasn't circulated a whole bunch. It's still got the wheat ears on the back, which is pretty hard to, pretty rare for something that old. 1921 Philly, 1924 Philly, 28 Philly, 30 Philly, 34 Philly, 35 Philly, and then a 41. Some of these were from a home site that me and a buddy of mine, Coins and Stuff on YouTube, hunted. He found a bunch of stuff there. Ended up finding a class ring from the 80s and a bunch of other Wheaties. And I think he also found a buffalo nickel there. It's where I found the 20 the Australian coin. I think I found the 1919, the 21, the 24, I think the 28. I think a decent majority of these coins, maybe not the 28, but a decent number of these wheat pennies were found there, and some of these ones were as well. We got 244s, 46, or no, 45, 246s, 51D, and a 58D. That one I think I found out at my grandparents' house, but I'm not too certain. Oh, wait, I forgot. I've got two other coins around here as well. I think I found that one out there too. Jeez. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah. I think I missed a couple coins. I know I did. Apparently I missed this one as a 58D. I don't remember where I came across that one. That one was probably at the local park if I had to guess because of all the corrosion on it. In fact, yeah, I kind of remember finding it down there. It was kind of a surprise find. But the two that I know that I added this year, that I know that I added was this 53D wheat penny, and then I found a 52. I believe that's 52 Philly Roosevelt or Jefferson nickel, and I found those the day after Christmas at my grandparents' house. They have a property that goes back to the 1840s, but they tore the house out in the 50s, and I think the oldest house out in the 50s, and I think those were from when they were tearing the house out or farming or something. But yeah, those were pretty nice. This one is probably one of the nicest nickels I've ever found. I thought it kind of was going to be a silver wartime nickel based on the color when I popped it out, but no, it's a 52, which is fine. And then I guess kind of the moment that you're all been waiting for, we got some silver this year, which was pretty nice. Actually, and a little bit of gold too. We found one Merc, 41, I believe that's a Philly. Yeah, it's a Philly. I found that at the same time that I found all those wheat pennies in this Australian coin. And then this was on a rainy day down at the local park, in an area of the park that's really wet all the time. And that's why this coin is stained so dark. It's a 46 Philly Roosevelt dime. I found it the same day that I found, I believe, the 40 nickel, and I believe I also found the 58D and maybe one of the other wheat pennies that day too, because I remember I found a bunch of old coins, which was very strange. Usually I don't pull very many old coins out of there anymore. I've pretty much hunted them all out. And then for the other silver artifacts, we have two rings. One is this. I can't remember who made this. It's half of a wedding set. The other one was smaller. This is the main. The other one was the engagement ring. This is like I guess this is the main wedding ring. This is I believe it's an Irish. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Claddagh, I believe. Claddagh, I believe is how it's pronounced. And it is sterling with a 10 karat gold heart in the center. And you can see there's a 925. Love, loyalty, and friendship. And the maker is also in there. Wow, man, my fingers are really fat. But yeah, there's the maker. Shan or Shan Gray. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, I found these about a week apart from each other in the same area of the local park. Actually, the same area that I found this 37 buffalo nickel. Then at a completely different location, about 2 or 3 months later, I found this little sterling charm. Well, it's 925, but I'm not sure what exactly it's from, but it says, I can't quite read it, but I think it's the brand name, Family Forever, and that was behind a baseball field and a little league field, and couldn't find an owner for that, but I'm sure some kid lost it. In there is a bit of gold leaf that came off of a plated ring. In fact, I'll probably show that plated ring here in a second. But this is what I've been using to keep all my older coins and stuff in for the year. It's a little mason jar sealer lid. So I guess we'll move on now to the relics. So here's a portion of what I found this year that wasn't coins or other circular cool related objects. Actually, there's one more thing that I would like to add. Gosh, dang it. There's the rest of the junk. I found a lot of Cruddy zinc pennies this year. I think that one's it. Yep, that's it. That's probably one of my favorite finds this year, because it combines two of my favorite passions. I enjoy a bunch of things, and that combines a couple of them, so... Anyways, I guess we'll kind of start off down here. Here's a rabies vaccination tag. This one, I believe, was under the ground. Yeah, it was. Pretty darn sure. This wasn't the only one of these that I found this year. I found two other ones. One, I was able to get back to the owner. She was very happy. She'd only lost it about 2 weeks before it was on the surface, and I was able to return it to her. The other one had a phone number on it. I believe I texted him and called the number. Didn't get a response, which was unfortunate on that one, because it was not too far away, and it was just really sad. This one doesn't have a phone number on it. It's just a standard rabies vaccination tag, probably a dog by the shape of it. I believe I found a couple of different ones of these. This one is probably the better one, I think. This one says made in Czechoslovakia on the back of it. These were bicycle reflectors. This one had a steel back on it, and it was just completely destroyed, so I carefully took all that off of it, and didn't even know it was gonna say that until peeled all that off of it, and that's pretty neat. Saw that, it was pretty neat. This one is made by Bright Star Incorporated, Clifton, New Jersey. Shout out to Clifton, New Jersey, and home of Ronnie Italiano. Got this little hinge. It's a silver-plated one, and it still works. Silver-plated brass. It still works. It's pretty neat. It's really bent up, though, which is unfortunate. This was a surface find in the local park, literally just blowing around in the breeze. I'm not going to flip it over because it has phone numbers and my location, but just know it's a bank chart. It's on the other side, it's a calendar. The year is 1971, and it's from a local company's federal credit union. I've actually got a coin roll with that bank stamp on it, so it's nice to have two things. Back when you could put your social security number on things and didn't need to worry about people stealing it, I guess. I believe this is a radiator cap or gas cap of some sort. Could not figure out what the logo on it means. It kind of looks like a longhorn steer, but I tried Google Lens searching that and couldn't come up with anything. Ooh, that's upside down. This was in a yard. This is a Michigan dog license from 1941. It's made out of very, very brittle brass, and it came out of the hole in 4 pieces. But I was able to super glue them back together on this piece of plastic, which is pretty neat. It was from that same house where me and a buddy of mine detected, and she let me keep that, which is pretty neat. I found 4 civilian rifle casings. Most of these are, 2 of them are, I believe, 3040 Krag Jorgensen. I'm not quite certain on that. This one is a 30-06. This one is, I believe, yeah, it's marked 250 HP. I think that's 250 high power. I'm not quite sure what that's used for. I found uh, technically three shotgun shellhead stamps. The other one I found at my grandparents' and is with the stuff that I found there. This one is a Winchester Yellow Rifle, and this one is a Western Field. I think both of those are from the 20s. This is a telephone pole date stamp from, I believe it says 84. I like finding things like this. You know, it's pretty neat. Found two locks, which was pretty neat. Found two pieces of linotype. I found multiples of these because they do sound like zinc pennies. This one's got text on it, and this one doesn't. I'm not sure if that was a blank space or what. But I forget what this one's... It says something. You mirror image that. I think it says something about... it's too far gone to read, really. Technically, I found 6 keys. This is it's a skeleton key, an iron skeleton key. It's the first skeleton key that I've found, which was pretty neat. I've never found a brass one. Found 3 house keys. These quick set keys are very common. I found probably about 20 of those metal detecting. This one is for a padlock. It's an American D690. You can look that up. I think they still even make those. That one has the name of, I guess, probably the guy who either sold it or the name of the business it went to. Couldn't find anything out about them. And then I found a Chrysler key. I believe this is to a Dodge Caravan from the 80s and early 90s. That was pretty neat. I was happy to find that. Found this aluminum Roman coin. Not sure how old that is. Probably from the 60s or 70s, if I had to guess. Found this, I guess it's a good luck token. It's got a Sanskrit proverb on the one side and sun on the other side. I'm not sure exactly what that's for. It could be AA related, Alcoholics Anonymous related, but it doesn't have any of their logos on it. I'm not sure. It seems like something that they might hand out, especially with the 24 hours a day. Found this Buick emblem. I believe the outer ring is to a bigger Buick emblem, but I'm not quite certain. I couldn't find any exactly like this one online either. Not sure what that's off of. Found a pocket watch back plate. This would have had the hairspring and the balance staff and stuff on it. This is a pocket knife with, I believe those are celluloid scales. I found a D20. This is the second D20 I've found. The other one wasn't clear like this one is, and so that's pretty neat. Probably found some use for that. Found a Michigan Bell telephone pole tag, which is pretty neat. Not sure what this cat was, but I think it was like a surface find. A friend has expressed interest in this, so this will not be staying around my house. Found a telephone number 8, or telephone pole number 8. Not exactly. Could be a year or a pole ID tag. I think I found this on a hillside. It's a cosmetic case cover from probably the 1890s or 1900s. Of course, found a big spoon, silver plated. I did find a couple other spoon bowls, silver plated, of course. Found a Tootsie toy. I did find a couple other toy cars, but this one was actually the most complete. Usually I find a couple of those a year. I like finding them. This was a pretty neat button. Steel back civilian button with a really neat flower design on it. I found a couple other buttons as well this year. Similar, but not quite like that one. This is a lady's sash buckle from probably the 1890s. It's got a it doesn't have a patent number, but it has a manufacturer number on it, or manufacturer, and an address. It says Todd, 40 Day Street, New York. And I looked that up, and I think, well, the street address is actually completely gone. They shortened the street up in like the early 1900s. Found 2 pieces of the same harmonica reed. They were in the same hole. And I guess to finish it all off, we got ourselves a humongous Schrader valve stem, probably a tractor one. These are too big for Model Ts. The only ones that are confirmed to have been used on the Model Ts, I believe, are 70s or 777, and I think the 747. I'm not don't quote me on that. I know the 777 was a Model T, but I'm not sure what the other one was. So this one's probably a big tractor valve stem. So anyways, I think that'll just about do it. I know this video is probably about 20 minutes long. Oh, I did skip some things. Forgot about that. This is a tag off a pair of jeans, probably from the 60s. Funky P pennies. If you know J.C. Penney's lore, they used that logo, I think, from the early 60s to the mid 70s. Pretty neat logo. I think the brand is Penny's Ranch Craft. I wish a rat hadn't chewed on that, or else it would have been really neat. But I'm still probably going to keep it. It's made out of plastic. That was on the surface. This is a Ride to Remember pin from 2012. It's not the first motorcycle pin that I found. It probably won't be the last. I seem to find one of these every 2 years or so. That's the second Ride to Remember pin I've found. The other one was a 2017. And the other pin was a local biker club pin. And this is a Michigan Farm Bureau insurance pin. It is really roached. I found this the same day that I found that 1946 silver dime down at the park. I thought this was a zinc penny when I first found it. It's very corroded like most zinc pennies are, and it's just completely destroyed. But then I got to looking at it, and I saw the state of Michigan on there. I don't think you'll be even able to pick it out. Actually, that's the right way. You can kind of see the mitten logo, in the shape of a mitten, and the upper peninsula, that's its tail there. I was not able to find any like this online. I really don't know exactly what this would have been given out for, but I saw similar ones and just went on the floor. I saw similar ones that were described as being from the, I think, 50s or 60s, so that was pretty neat. And my favorite find, this I found it down at that local park again. This is a Mannlicher Carcano round. I forget what dimensions it is, but this one in particular, you're probably not going to make out too much on that head stamp, but it is from, I believe, Milan is what it says. The M stamp is Milan or one of the other Italian cities. The T, I believe, is the inspector number. Again, Bologna. This is from Bologna, the Bologna Armory. Date is 1939, so during the reign of Bad Mustache Man's friend. And the two letters on the top, I think, are the initials of the man who inspected this. So this is pretty neat. The rifles, of course, were very popular with U.S. servicemen after the war, who used them for, sports hunting, which I believe what happened to this cartridge. It was imported as ammunition for somebody who was shooting rifles or shooting rats or something with it. Who knows? It could have been a wartime round, but of course the Mannlicher Carcano was the same rifle that Lee Harvey Oswald used to shoot JFK. I always like history like that because it really creates a good connection. This will go with my military found metal detecting collection. I've got quite a number of casings and bullets and buttons as well, and a World War II Army dog tag. So anyways, that wraps it up for this year. I know I didn't get to... Usually I have a feature on all the junk zinc pennies that I find, and I probably found about $1 or probably about 50 cents worth of junk zinc pennies. There's a bunch of other stuff in there that's pretty neat, but just wasn't worthy enough to be mentioned in the main portion of the relics area. So anyways, if you're a metal detectorist, I'd like to wish you good hunting in 2026, and hope you find a bunch of good stuff and silver and other objects. So anyways, that'll about do it for this video. Thank you for watching. But before you go, Say a prayer for those we have lost in the year of our Lord 2026. Save me! Save me! You are too far gone to save. Good grief. Gosh, some of these are really bad. Oh, and 2 dimes. What the heck? Lawnmowered, flattened. I didn't even know this was a dime until I took a little closer look at it. But yeah, all these zinc pennies. Half gone. Half gone. Nearly half gone. 1/3 gone. These guys put on a diet. Good grief. I think there are some of these that are some of these are literally like nearly bent in half. But yeah, this is what moisture does to these coins. Just absolutely destroys them. Eats them alive. Good grief. They're real bad, folks. Anyways, bye.